Jets, Bills. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary, back with another video. Today I'll be talking about the Jets versus the Bills coming up in Week 10. Before we get started, just wanted to mention you can follow on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, check out the Just Jets podcast, wherever it is you get your podcasts, right here on the YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that fun stuff. Check it out. So the Jets come into this game at 2-6, Buffalo 5-3. They're coming off a really bad loss against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 9-6 to Jacksonville. Don't get it, but okay, that happened. The Buffalo Bills in offense are 8th and 1st in defense. This is a really good roster, and it's easy to see why they are top 10 in offense and the best defense overall. The Jets, good news. There's a 2 in front of the number. 29th on offense. Defense, talk about a plummet. 31st, the second worst defense. Only Houston has a worse defense right now. Well, it's kind of easy to see why on that aspect too. The last 3 weeks, 54, 31, 45. Yuck. Not good. And this is a tough matchup for the New York Jets against this Buffalo offense, which we'll get to in a little bit here. First, and the main story of this game, the Jets announced their starting quarterback. It's going to be Mike White. That tells you that Zach Wilson is not healthy enough. They said that his knee isn't exactly where they want it to be, and they're going to give him another week. Perfect. Okay. I'm more than okay with Mike White getting this game, especially if Zach isn't, healthy to play. In his one full start this year, Mike White went for 405, 3 passing touchdowns. He got injured last week against the Indianapolis Colts, but he did throw a touchdown pass before exiting, and he looked all right. He looked pretty good. And Josh Johnson came in for him in replace of Mike White due to the injury, and he looked good as well. So maybe that this will be 3 weeks in a row the Jets quarterback looks good. We can dream. One thing on the offensive side of the ball that I've really been enjoying, and Michael Carter is another one of those things, but I just didn't want to feature Michael Carter in this video. Instead, I wanted to talk about Elijah Moore, because the last 2 weeks he's put up some legitimate numbers, and this is what everyone was hoping for in training camp and before the season started. And when they drafted him, 67 receiving yards 2 weeks ago, 84 last week, two receiving touchdowns last week, a rushing touchdown the week before, so 3 touchdowns over the last 2 games. He's gone over, like I said, 67 and 84. Does he hit 100? That'd be nice. That's the next milestone that he has to hit, but significantly more usage, which is a good thing. We like that if you're the New York Jets. And he's thrived in this expanded role. He can do a lot. He can play on the outside. He can play in the slot, which is good. And they've utilized him more on jet sweeps and stuff like that. Get the ball in this guy's hands and good things will happen. I'm excited to watch him through the second half of this season over the next 9 games. And I think that he is going to be able to have a good day this week. I fully expect him to continue his kind of play that he's had in recent weeks. As for the Buffalo Bills on the offensive side of the ball, which is really what I wanted to get to in this game, because defensively, they're stacked. But on the offensive side, let's face it, they're just as stacked. But here's the kicker. Josh Allen's running ability. The Jets haven't played a quarterback who can run to the level that Josh Allen can yet. They haven't played one. Not one on their list yet. They faced some running quarterbacks, but the way that Allen can do it, and the funny thing is, they don't have much of a rushing attack outside of Josh Allen. Devin Singletary hasn't been used probably to the point where he should. Zach Moss hasn't really gotten it going yet. So their pass plays that turn into scrambles really act as their rush game. So I think he could have a big day. But CJ Mosley is going to have his work cut out for him. He's going to be in charge, but I don't love the Jets linebacker unit outside of CJ. So that's going to be a tough ask. For a positive, looking at the Jets' defensive line, on paper, they should have a good week because the Bills' offensive line is downright bad. They lead the league in amount of sacks given up. And when the Jets' defense is at their best, they're getting after the quarterback. Think about those games early in the year when the defense was thriving. Quinnen Williams was having good numbers. John Franklin Myers was putting up good numbers. Sheldon Rankins was putting up good numbers. And you had complementary guys in there as well. So you're going to need those too. Franklin Myers and Quinnen Williams, who Quinn's looking for a new contract probably in this offseason. If you want to get paid the big bucks, you want to get your Fletcher Cox money, show out in a divisional game, man, especially on an offensive line that isn't good, right? Like the Colts, yeah, they didn't look great against the Colts, the defensive line. But if you want to make the excuse or want to have the rebuttal, I guess, that the Colts offensive line is one of the better ones, okay, I'll give you that. But Buffalo, if you have one thing circled in red ink for what the issue is for the Buffalo Bills, offensive line. Exploit it. If you want to keep this a game, those guys have to play well. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So that's my biggest key to this game. Get pressure on Allen, and maybe you have a shot. As for what I think the final score is going to be in this game, I can't take the Jets this week. Sorry. I'm even picking the Bills against the spread. Bills minus 13. And here's my reason. If they, being the Buffalo Bills, didn't just lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, I could absolutely talk myself into being this a closer game than expected, kind of like Buffalo's last appearance at MetLife Stadium, where Sam Darnold returned from injury, and like the Jets actually had a good opening drive, and they put up some points, and they actually made it a little bit of a game. But this go around, only scoring 6 points last week against a bad defense in the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they'll be ready to go. I think they'll be firing on all cylinders. Bills 38-16. Defense isn't going to play well. Mike White's going to be okay. I don't think he's going to be as good as what he was against Cincinnati because they're going up against arguably the best defense in football. But I'm not predicting like a 38-3 game or 40-6 or anything like that. I think the Jets will get in the end zone a couple of times, but I think Buffalo gets that score up close to 40. Let's go to Casey and see who she likes in this one. Shocking. She went to the left again. She likes the away teams. Picked them all year long just about. Oh, God. Both of us are 2-5-1 against the spread, so we'll see here, but both of us on the Buffalo Bills. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about this game. Do you think the Jets pull the upset? Do you think Buffalo wins? What do you expect out of Mike White? All that and more. Get at me on the comments or on social media. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll talk to you next time.